My name is Anders Frejdh, and I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. And I've been involved in the IFF ever since the purchase of this car. And I've been friends with Doug for like 8 years now. And this is my third work weekend, and I intend to come to several more in the future. I discovered Bond at my neighbor's house when I was 11 years old. And he had all of the James Bond on VHS, and I remember clearly when I watched my first Bond film, which was The Spy Who Loved Me, and I was hooked. And we ended up watching all of the films that weekend, and this was in 1985 and 1986. And ever since then I was more or less hooked, but I didn't start collecting stuff until years later, when I had left. Mostly when I left university, I started to collect. But during high school and university, I just to keep track of things and reading as much books as I could, because I really like reading books about the Bond phenomenon, behind the scenes stuff. In Sweden, it's not that spread out. I mean, we have a lot of Bond fans in Sweden, but it's only me and a couple more people that actually collect stuff. Everyone is well aware of James Bond in all of Scandinavia, but in England it's much more like that you collect. I mean, the collector's side of it in England versus Sweden. Germany, of course, Switzerland, France. I know people in all those places, and they all collect stuff like I am. In Italy and Spain and Belgium and Netherlands. I mean, basically we're all the same, I think. We have a big interest in James Bond, and when we hook up, I mean, you make new friends but basically I think we're all the same, actually. And based on the background, I think it depends on if you're a collector or if you're just a fan. Since this vehicle came over here, of course my interest of coming here has increased. Doug contacted me and said that this car was obviously in Sweden, but he had no contact details to the person directly. So he asked me to do some research about where exactly the car was. He had a name, but that name turned out to be false. But I found the proper guy that actually owned the car, and so upon Doug's request, I made an initial contact. And went down to see him and to see the car and the paperwork, and back and forth with emails with Doug and this guy. I was sort of a middleman for this, because the guy who owned it, he couldn't speak any English, so I had to be the translator and the middleman and the delivery guy of the money and everything like that. The car is a Ford Mercury. Used in the filming of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and it was used in the ski sequence scenes of the film. And I believe James Bond, in the form of George Lazenby, never drove the car. He was always the passenger, but he was sitting in this car. Of course, it's a long travel, but I see it as meeting up old friends and have a few days off from work and have a good time, and so I don't see it as a long trip. I see it as an enjoyable weekend.